Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anime Watch Club, a bi-weekly group discussion and review where the hosts of the What Do You Say Anime podcast nominate and vote on shows either we haven't seen or shows that hopefully lead to a great discussion. In today's episode, the young rascals of the What Do You Say Anime podcast will be reviewing the 1989 anime Mobile Suit Gundam War in the Pocket. Let's meet today's pilots. His first exposure to the Gundam was researching Rule 34 Gunpla. We got Kat. Kat, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it was not a great time in my life. Thanks for reminding me of it.
we grow from those experiences. Next up, he has a war raging in his front pocket. We got Jay. Jay, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. Kids, don't keep Mentos and Coca-Cola, Diet Coca-Cola in your front pocket. It's a bad idea.
Yes, do not do that. Our first moderator tonight, due to the lack of lesbians, he will be leaving after the intro and giving the show a 3. We got Miles. Miles, how's it going?
Yeah, it's a 3. I'm out.
Peace.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye now.
And Pat.
What's up, guys? How we doing? Good to be back. Very sad to have missed last week, but shit happens. Still haven't gotten to listen yet either, but I will. I will soon be arguing with you guys about
Soon.
the show. Sounds like about who was right about Hina versus not Rin. Ria? No.
Rui?
God. Rui. Thank you.
Rui.
Yeah, Rui. Oh, God. Read the manga. All right. Got all that out of me. Let's talk about the show we're actually doing this week, which is, like Pete said, Mobile Suit Gundam 0080 War in the Pocket, done in 1989. It's a 6-episode OVA, all normal-length episodes too, so it's a pretty easy show to watch. Done by Studio Sunrise, and it's an original show by them. So, yeah, I guess let's get right into it. Let's do our opening thoughts. I guess on the first episode, since it's such a cut-down thing, or length compared to normal, and it is pretty spoiler-heavy as well, I would say, so don't do what Miles did and watch the 6th episode first, or don't listen to this if you haven't or intend to watch the show beyond at least this first episode. So yeah, Miles, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, so this is actually impossible for me to do because I watched the 6th episode first. I liked the show. I would recommend it. I think it is a good entry in the Gundam universe. I think it is a nice looking show for 1989. I think that honestly, like if you're just looking for like a little taste of Gundam, I think this is like a pretty okay place to drop in. There's a war that you might not completely understand the backdrop to, but I don't think that's that material. And then this also is like not a ton of factions or anything. There's kind of 2 factions, and there's not like 30 characters you need to worry about. There's like 4 or something. Like I think it's pretty digestible from that. It's also only 6 episodes. You don't need to worry about starting a series that's 25, 50 episodes long, something like that. So would I recommend this? I would say yes. I enjoyed it.
Nice. What about you, Kat?
So, for me personally, I'm not a huge fan of older anime typically. Trigun is my favorite, like, old style anime. And it's not even, it's like 20 years old or 25 years old now.
26.
26. This it kind of falls under that same type of feeling for me where it's really the animation is it's super hand drawn. It's hand drawn fairly well, but it looks closer to more like any frame typically can be a picture rather than it is closer to a moving picture. If you get what I mean. And it feels okay. Pete doesn't get what I mean.
I don't.
So okay, cool, awesome.
What he's saying is that all-time director in Psychopath, Kubrick, when he said every frame of painting, what he should have done is say, "Nah, that's dumb. These are moving things."
Basically, it's just that it feels. I guess the frames per second feels a little bit too choppy for me personally. So that's kind of how it feels for me.
That's so interesting. I have that complaint a lot. I did not notice it with this.
I noticed it a lot with this, but I would say that I wouldn't really recommend it personally. I don't think that it's a bad show, but I also don't think that it's necessarily going to demand your time.
I can see that. I think I can kind of see that perspective. I agree with you too, though, Kat, on the like it's aged. It's not necessarily unwatchable or bad, but it's definitely you can see the age in the show, and I understand where you're coming from there. Pete, what about you?
So I'd label myself as like a casual Gundam watcher slash mecha guy. I don't actively search it out, but for the most part, what I watch, I do enjoy it. There's really no like mech shows that I hate. And then while I was watching this, I was thinking of my favorite Akon quote. I'm trying to find the words to describe this show without being disrespectful. I replaced one word there, but I thought this show in the first couple episodes was like really boring. I really couldn't grasp sort of the charm that I really liked from previous Gundams, where even if it
episode 6 first.
what's that?
Should have watched episode 6
I
first.
should have. That was a fool of me to watch this show in order. Dummy. But like with other Gundam properties, even something when we did the Origin, where I wasn't super high on the show itself, but like Char is such a fucking badass, where like he raised the score by 2 points. There was no Char in this one. There was no Suleta. There was no something along like those lines where I could find something else to connect with outside of the actual Gundam series. So like if you're like an average Gundam fan, mecha guy, I wouldn't recommend this. And then like if you're a Gundam head, you've already seen it. So for me, this is a not recommended.
That's interesting because, like, to me, this show is just a good show minus anything about Gundam. Like,
Yeah, it really
Gundam
did
in
feel
this
like a
is-
Gundam. Yeah. 100%. I know exactly what you mean. But I guess it was like me trying to search for something that other Gundams do that I like, that I can enjoy with, and I couldn't find it in this property.
Fair enough. All right, Jay, what about you?
I agree with a lot of the points Pete made in particular, but I kind of like the show for like those points. Weirdly enough, I feel like this feels very 90s in a way. I know it's like it was made in like 89, so
Yeah.
close enough. But like if you put this in like an American live action with Bernie being played by like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something, this would be considered like an all-time classic action movie. Just you could put any MacGuffin instead of the Gundam, basically.
right?
More or
Yeah.
less. You could just have it be like the nuclear launch codes or some shit like that. And have Arnold be playing like a Soviet soldier or something that meets this young kid who's a traitor to his country, more or less. I don't know.
Okay, who do we cast as
As Apple?
is Chris
Oh,
Timothy Chalamet.
Chris would be
Woolman?
Chris would be what's her face? Denise something.
Oh, Denise Richardson.
Denise Richardson. Yeah,
Yeah.
Denise Richardson. And then Al would be Haley Joel Osment.
That's what
Okay.
I was thinking.
yeah.
But Bernie would be Chris Pratt, duh.
Yeah.
Well, that's if it was made today, and then Chris
Yeah.
would be
Oh, made today,
Jack
gotcha.
Black.
Yeah.
It would be Zendaya and Timothy Chalamet.
Absolutely.
Let's be real. Yeah. Yeah. But okay, going on a small tangent there. I really enjoyed this overall. I think that it's just got these kind of like interesting vibes and asks a lot of interesting questions even in the first episode. Like in Gundam, you don't often like you hear about like the horrible things that happen to people who aren't involved with the war, but you don't often get the perspective, at least in the stuff I've seen, of like neutral parties involved in wars. So it's interesting to me for them to present a side trying to stay neutral, not involved with Xeon or the Federation, even though like it kind of feels like you could kind of easily pick a side there based on what both of them have done. But who am I to say, really? Char is pretty cool. That would have influenced me personally.
The main thing hasn't happened yet, though.
Yeah. Did they? They haven't dropped the fucking.
They haven't.
yet?
Remember, because he
Okay.
says he's from Sydney.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like that would have been.
That was actually something that made me like. I was wondering why they didn't question that because I was like, wait, they dropped a fucking colony on Ocean.
Yeah, no. To me, it was a bit of like a sort of. The last
And
time
also,
we
like in real life politics too, like how often is it obvious what side you should be on, and then you stay neutral because we're neutral, because
That's true.
trade and tariffs, baby. We got to keep the trade flow going. And that is mentioned in the show, which I thought was pretty cool, that there's like still trade going on, literally as a war is going on outside their windows, and it's used as a plot point. Like that was fun. Maybe not plot point, but you know what I mean? Like a vehicle, literally.
Yeah. I enjoyed it quite a bit overall, though. I would say I recommend this to anybody who, if you like war movies in general, I think that this could be a good like replacement for a war movie. Just pop this on in an afternoon, instead of watching like Saving Private Ryan for the 50th time, you could peep this. It's probably about the same length, if not shorter, honestly. I don't know how long Saving Private Ryan is off the top of my head, actually. And I think that I get the complaints that this is aged, because obviously if you look at this compared to a modern anime, yeah, it's going to look aged. But we watched Record of Lodoss War, which I honestly didn't think looked that bad, and this looks way better than that. And Record of Lodoss War is almost a decade older than War in the Pocket. So
another thing I would say is that on July 7th, 2024, the first episode of My Dear Friend Nokotan aired. So really, have we advanced that much?
I don't know. From what I understand, they had a PowerPoint in one of the recent episodes.
Yeah, I don't know.
They didn't PowerPoint at any points, and there were no PowerPoints
Easy.
in War in the Pocket.
Easy. There were, unfortunately. The ED was
don't count.
EDs
it counted for now and then, here and there. That's all I'm gonna say.
So
now and then, here and there had a one frame on screen for 6 seconds.
I was
one frame.
I'm without sin. So yes, this is a recommendation from Jay.
Okay. In my personal defense, I didn't like Record of Lodoss War. Nor did I like Now and Then, Here and There. I haven't watched that episode of Nokotan. So
I wasn't a shot at you, Kat. I apologize if it came across that way. It's just I was more of using, because I could see people who listen agreeing with that, honestly, and people are entitled to their opinion. I just think that it's honestly it hasn't aged that much, in my opinion. If something like this got released today, I would unironically watch this, because I'd be like, wow, this is different looking than the cookie cutter, not all cookie cutter, but give me this instead of some isekai cookie cutter, whatever. Yeah.
There's a scene where the Gundam is painted onto the page when he's sunbathing next to it or something. And I thought that was so cool, because today you would just have some bullshit fucking CGI
robot. Yeah,
that completely clashes with everything. I don't know. I really liked the art in it.
Leave Bravern alone. Bravern definitely laid with Lewis at one point and is a CGI mecha.
Interesting. I don't know. I was about to reference that scene, or a scene similar to that, where I was like, it's clearly painted on, and not in a good way, to me at least. I thought it was jarring, because I was like, whoa, that looks kind of not, or it looks very static and not great. I don't know. I thought the art was robot. The what? Sorry?
It was a downed robot. It's supposed to be static.
Yeah.
Fair, but I don't know. You know what I mean? When you'd watch a SpongeBob episode, one of the old ones, and
okay, the pineapple or whatever, what's been painted.
What's an active frame, it's going to be interacted with.
You can tell what's going to be moving in the scene.
I guess color, in my head, if you're going to have something be background art, I would rather have even if it's still obvious, right? I would rather have something that is watercolored in, or oil painted in, or whatever, as opposed to computer asset dropped in.
Yeah.
And
this 3D model into
that clashes with the rest of the
I understand that. I would like it somewhere in the middle, preferably, but it's it's not a huge complaint, I don't think, for this show, for me at least. I think that pretty much I'm somewhere in the middle between the liked it and didn't like it crowd, in terms of just the overall feel for the show. I do agree with Pete that there doesn't feel like there's very much of a point to watching the show if you haven't already watched it as a Gundam fan, right?
That's interesting. Genuinely an interesting thing to me, because I think it's, and I've said this before, I just think it's a good standalone show, despite being a Gundam show.
I think it could be a good intro for someone into the Gundam world, I suppose, and it's a very easy investment. But these characters have no depth. There's no.
You don't think the characters have any depth?
Not. in the grand scheme of things, we barely get the chance to explore them. I think, other than I guess the main guy gets some depth explored, and
Well, the
like,
kid gets a lot of depth explored.
that's
Yeah,
is it
okay.
not?
And
Yeah.
then Bernard has
Ow.
depth. Al.
Al.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were calling it. It looks like they were calling him I. I guess I was just reading the subtitle wrong.
It's fair. That's a valid one. Yeah.
His name
Yeah.
is Alfred Izuhara, so I thought it was like, oh, AI, like, oh, like clever. And
I guess,
like-
I guess it could be in the Japanese dub, honestly.
I have no idea.
watched the English dub.
there was a dub for this. Ah, damn.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
The
I
English
watched
dub was actually really solid.
Really good.
Yeah.
Cool. I liked the side characters more than the main ones, though. Which like the special forces team was more fun to me than the leads, at least. And this this plot like wrote itself. It felt very like nothing surprising happened to me, so I was a little disappointed. I was expecting more, I guess. So I would think I'm gonna echo Pete's recommendation, where it's like, all right, I like watch it if you haven't seen it yet and you like Gundam, but otherwise it's not. I don't feel like it's like that different or that moving of a show. Sure, I'm gonna give it a good rating compared to some other people here, but it's like because it wasn't like horrible or bad. I just couldn't really get connected to any of the characters beyond the side ones. And
Yeah, I can't. Oh God, I wish I could slander all three of you, but I can't
You
because you're
can't.
not watching the seasonal.
Yeah.
Pat, so
oh boy, I'm saving myself every day by not.
you're
watching.
saving by not watching seasonals. I don't think you'd like it. Don't worry.
All right, well, I guess that's spoiler-free section over.
Okay,
Miles, you
well,
can continue.
yeah,
I have Yoko Tada 6, right?
No, I'm not talking about no.
Okay, I
There's,
was like-
no one likes no.
Like called out.
What show were you going to reference?
You'll find out in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna guess.
Well, you mean this fine piece of art that's better than
Oh, yo,
Mobile
okay.
Suit Gundam 0080 War in the Pocket?
Hold on.
Yeah.
That's a preview for the review.
Pete,
Oh,
you're like
okay.
6 steps behind me, buddy.
I'm glad I didn't watch that, honestly. Not gonna lie.
Alia's good. Like unironically.
Yeah, sure. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
I don't think
yeah,
I would like it. I don't think I would like it. I would just be honest.
What did you give Domestic Girlfriend?
Me?
Yeah.
Like a 5?
Okay. Did you like it?
That's a loaded
Come on,
question.
say it. Say it for me. Say it for me. Say it. I'm ready. I'm ready.
That's like asking me if like I liked getting spanked as a child. That's a loaded question.
What?
Let's not
No,
go
just-
there.
Jay just answered it for us already by bringing it up. I think
Trent, if you could put in the gift from
sucks.
community that's better not awaken anything in me.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So as I was going to say before Jay got a little
A little too into his feelings.
let's move on to the spoilers.
Minnesota J.
Yeah. Let's move on to the spoilers section. So yeah, there's spoilers
Yeah.
going forward here. All right, pause it if you haven't paused us. Oh man, I really hope you did. Miles, what's your first talking point that you wanted to bring up here?
Snape kills Dumbledore.
No way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I wrote these questions as I write a show questions that I think we're all gonna like, and that's my bad this week. I apologize.
There are
I
things
should've-
I like about the show.
There are two, yeah.
I just like I don't think there's anything to dislike. So that's sort of what I thought. I just thought this would be like a. Okay, you know what? Let's start with this. Kat, what did you not like about the show that isn't you being shallow?
You motherfucker! Wow. That's
Own that fraud.
This is
fucking
a
deep.
safe space. This is a safe
Yeah.
space.
Kat's
Wow.
like, oh, I don't like things that look old. Meanwhile, the host has gray hair.
Whoever said I like
I'm
you.
pretty sure both of them.
Cat wants you in a home ASAP.
So here's the thing. One of the things that I really didn't like about the first couple of episodes was just how it felt like it was trying to make it felt like it was trying to show a daily life thing, but it created this sense for me of boredom, of me just watching this dude go from you know from school, well, go from home to school, back to home, and just this basic thing. And I get that that was the point, but it didn't feel like I was going to, if I was watching this by myself, I didn't feel like I was going to actually continue the rest of the show.
Home to school, sneaks in a military base in episode 1, I believe. Back to home. I get it. Everyday stuff we're all doing.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Harassing his female student, classmate, and
That
teacher.
also
you know?
I didn't like.
That was just like,
Well, I thought that was a pretty realistic
No,
yeah.
depiction of children that age.
I was going with the bit. Sorry, but yes.
I
Continue,
think.
Ken.
Well, so I do think. I mean, I do. Right. The point of the character is to show like a general loss of innocence over time. Right. So you need to establish the innocence part of the. Right. You can't just be like,
Right.
oh, I'm doing war stuff now, day one,
Right.
or else, yeah.
But the thing is that I didn't really enjoy the starting point of it, because it just felt really, I don't know, it felt kind of empty to me. And it might just be that I was also put off by the animation, and that kind of factored into it, but I also thought that it was kind of boring to me. And
What if the desks
first part.
folded in?
If the desks
Another
folded into each other, bro, this would be above Madoka Magica.
that back-to-back episodes of Madoka references.
I'm not even breaking it up.
I could chime off Kat, because this is
Yeah.
kind of what I don't know if anybody else felt like this, but there's sometimes with seasonal animes where you get produced for 12 episodes. We have to make 12 episodes of content, and when they make the 12 episodes of content, it's like, okay, I feel like you could have done that in like 9. And I've kind of felt like that way in the beginning, where I do feel like the first 3 episodes probably could have been like 2. And that was kind of the vibe I was getting, where like I feel like that's literally that's how I felt.
It could have been one less episode.
Yeah, for a 6 episode show, what's the math on that?
Oh my god, it would be 10 and 12, bro.
16.67%. Yeah, that's 60. That's just how I felt. The pacing is a thing. Like I feel like that's a very valid complaint if I felt like the pacing wasn't on like what I was like.
No, that's fine. I just feel like normally you don't. I'm confused here. I don't know. It's going to be a rough day for me, because like you don't care about pacing, right?
I
like,
do care about pacing.
You watch a lot of shows that don't have pacing in them,
and I critique them for their pacing,
like Yuri Camp, and
100%.
Yeah. What? Okay.
Yeah.
Well then. Okay. I don't get it.
Just because a show does have like this, just because a show.
Okay. So what?
There's other redeeming qualities of something like Laid Back Camp that can override the pacing issues.
What would you cut out of the show?
I feel
specifically.
It's like some of the interactions with his like family life, I think, could have been cut, where like I think it was established like with his dad, like we kind of got the idea that his dad was like working in the factory and all that stuff, and that's how he could get access, and that's how he could go and do all that stuff. I just feel like there's like little parts where you could cut out that, to me, that was like the pacing issue, where it felt like, or even if this wasn't like 27 minutes per episode, if this were like 20 minutes per episode or something like that, I feel like you could have got the content in. You could get the message in with less, is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, it's like 23 minutes per episode because it's a really long
whatever.
Okay. I guess.
Get rid of the female classmate character too. Like,
I just want to say that part of this.
She has a huge moment at the end where she's sympathetic towards him. It's a major thing,
his
right?
But his friends that already existed could have also just been sympathetic.
But they weren't. That is the point. Right? Because they haven't.
They could have been if they wrote them to be like 2 of them are assholes.
Yeah, correct.
And one of them is like.
Okay, sure.
Well, so that's my point. If you change the show, like you're asking me to give you context for, that's how it could have been done. And I get she has that moment at the end of the show, felt very random, felt very like she's a jerk to him the rest of the show. So like, oh man, well, because your friend died, apparently, or something like, oh, I'm really sympathetic towards you now all of a sudden.
Well,
But
okay,
she doesn't even know that her friend died. Now I think about it. So like,
So no, so she's not. He's crying and she's asking. So one, she's not a jerk to him. He is a jerk to her.
100%.
That is an important distinction, right?
they
That is an
fight.
important.
They're both jerks.
I know.
No, she's a jerk to
He is-
her.
He is a jerk to her.
She
They are
never
jerks to her.
initiates anything.
She initiates multiple times.
No,
What,
never. Never.
She like rats him out to the teacher. She does initiate.
That's not
like-
initiating. Actions have consequences. He was a bitch in class and he got tattled on because they're kids. That's not initiating because he did it.
That is initiating.
No,
what?
no.
What
She's
are you guys siding
reacting
with
to him
cops now?
doing it.
Like,
What are you? This girl's a cop?
no, the teacher is. You tattle. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
Why did she
seriously,
tattle?
I don't understand.
That's over here like stitches get fucking stitches, dude.
Like, well, no, like just be consistent. That's
The
all.
show is
Young
very
kids,
consistent.
If you're getting bullied, suck it the fuck up.
Yeah, really?
No,
Don't
or
tell an
say
adult.
something about it yourself. like I don't know, like
You never tattled on somebody when you were a kid?
oh, I did all the time. That's why do you think I'm pro?
Okay.
All the
Honestly,
time I did.
this is worse than Pat defending the Char murders in our last.
No, not well, no, but literally, I just watched it today. She initiates not just tattling on him in class. Like the two of them go back and forth the entire time. It's two kids bickering. That's all it is.
The
It's
first
not.
example is the one friend is like, "Oh, I got this mobile suit pilot thing, which did not exist, right?" And then she's like, "You're lying." And then they're all like, they all kind of realize he's lying. And then are like, oh, fuck reality, agenda over facts, which like is based, I will say. We do appreciate that around
Mind your
here.
own business. Let kids be kids, right? I thought that
She's a
like,
kid.
Telling a 5-year-old? Come on.
she needs to grow up. I don't know. Mind your own business.
Yeah,
Stay in
she
your lane.
does. Yeah.
Both of them do.
Not
but,
the
like, why can't-
terrorist kid in the classroom.
He's not a terrorist.
Yes, he is.
He's a terrorist.
He's an absolute
No,
terrorist.
He wasn't at that point.
He was trying to be a terrorist.
I don't know. I feel like
He
if
wanted
someone
to join a military. It's
Sure.
red versus blue. He just wanted to join one of the sides. He wanted to be a soldier. He wanted to be.
No, and this does a good job of humanizing some Xeon people. But like, I guess my point is like, she was justified insofar as like she was factually correct multiple times, and they were just like, "Nuh-uh,
Yeah.
nuh-uh,
Wrong because
nuh-uh."
you're a girl.
Boo face.
Yeah.
And you have cooties too.
Girls do
like-
have cooties.
They do.
Yeah, it's a good point, but like,
I rest my case.
you know,
Join our
that-
Discord, the He-Man Woman Haters Club, if you want. Just kidding.
it's the clubhouse from Calvin and Hobbes or whatever.
Yeah.
We
No
love
girls
K-On! around
allowed.
here.
Spent with the G backwards or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like to me that's an important scene because you have this person. The only person who was sympathetic towards him was the person that he, let's just say, had conflict with, right? Like he was being mean to her, she was being a little know-it-all or whatever. So she had like some amount of like empathy as opposed to the boys who didn't understand the reality of like war like he did because they weren't affected by it as much. They viewed it as a way to like get off of school or whatever, where he, saw multiple people die like right in front of him. So
He almost died. Like he
yes,
was getting sprayed at.
He almost died several times.
He
yeah.
should have died multiple times.
He should have died, actually. Yeah.
Plot
Being
armor.
really-
Shonen
Well, no
plot
one was
armor.
ever aiming at him. So
No, I get the importance of it, and I understand why it happened when it was with her. My point is, it could have also just been something else.
Well,
And-
yeah,
or
but
it-
if it's his friend, it is less meaningful, in my opinion.
I think
I
if one
also-
of his friends that is all pro-war, like I don't know, what if one of his friends died instead too in like one of those attacks, or if what if like
But then everyone is affected by it.
what if one of his
You can't
friends,
have him be isolated then.
The point, like the whole, like the point of like the title itself, like War in the Pocket, is to show you that it's isolated, and that meta narrative kind of it multiplies itself through the character being isolated. Like he is in a pocket that people around him, besides this one other person, do not understand. And honestly, it's kind of brilliant in a lot of ways, I feel like, because like a famous quote is like there is no anti-war films, and in many ways that often means like you can have a film or series or whatever that is, you know, very like the director can go out of their way to make it anti-war, but people will watch it and like somebody could watch this and say, oh shit, cool mech fights, I'm glad that the war happened or whatever. It's like literally the Gundam meme
The meme,
everybody
Yeah,
uses.
yeah.
And like they're almost a stand-in for the audience here, where like some people will get it and see it as like a, you know, this is showing the horrific parts of war, whereas they're talking about like, oh, we can go find like bullets and bullet casings and stuff like that. It's so cool that this happened near us. Like, I don't know. I think I I sort of understand where you're coming from to an extent, Pat, but I think that like I don't think that this movie needs anything like carved away from it in that way. Like nothing was really done in like a besides for like maybe some pacing in the beginning, nothing was really done in like a superfluous manner in my opinion. This was done as like the 10th anniversary of Gundam, so it feels like and also the first time somebody who wasn't Tomino was directing a Gundam series. So I think that they were really doing it with a lot of care, you know.
This is what I get for trying to defend Kat and Pete's point.
Yeah,
by
no,
the
this
way.
is true. I don't know. I also,
I could cite
like,
something
Well,
I think we all
let's-
deserve to give Jay a golf clap here for using meta narrative in a non-douchey way.
But also,
Good job, Jay.
there's also some. You also did put some of your own ideas in that because
Oh, I was just
there.
doing it along with
Yeah.
it, honestly. Like, I don't know. I didn't
Yeah.
mind the girl character. I get what you're saying though, where it felt like certain
Yeah.
things didn't happen, or it could have been shorter,
Yeah,
or could have
absolutely.
been more scenes with the characters we cared about. You know, like expanding them more. I think that's what I think it was more lacking stuff than it was superfluous and stuff. I guess is would be my criticism of it. But anyways, sorry, Kat.
I can also see that.
I don't know. I'm gonna say nice things about the pacing. I think the pacing is great. uh,
Well, you're
like,
wrong.
yeah, I know. Won't be the last time. I think setting up, like, if you're going to do a thing about like an isolated, independent, like peaceful area and stuff, you need to set up those daily life moments. Like, I think that is important. And in fact, if it's a little boring for people, I think that's a good intended effect. Like, if you get sort of lulled into a bit of a false sense of security before things like ratchet up at all, I think that's good. There's also intrigue going on pretty much the entire time, though, where like you know that the feds are working on secret technology and stuff there, and like that slowly gets revealed, and then you know that like Xeon is trying to do something, and you know that plot comes out over time. There are like machinations moving in the background. I don't know. I normally don't like, I'm not exactly slice of life aficionado Miles over here. So yeah, but like I don't know. I didn't find it overbearing like at all in that aspect. I thought it was good.
You know what this reminds me of? And this is a perfect example of like something Miles loves and something that I just can't connect with. War in the Pocket is exactly like Yuri Is My Job, where I think it is structured great and like how they do things in the show make perfect sense. It's just I didn't like it. So like
Yeah,
that's what War in the Pocket is to me. Is just like I think there are so many cool elements that they did with this. Like I think like the representation of like the child soldier, like the idea that Al is a tool for Xeon. Like maybe towards the end you can argue it, but like in the beginning it's like they're using him to get the information of inside like the warehouses and stuff like that. Like that's really cool. Like when's the last time I saw a show do that? But like does it grasp me the same way as other shows do? And then that's where I kind of like fell back a little bit because like I didn't care. But like I agree. I do think like there's nothing I can say like about the show that's like structurally bad. I think what they do in 6 episodes is like really well done. But I bet there's properties that we all have where like we agree that it's like produced great, it's structured great. The story probably connects to a lot of people, but like it just didn't resonate with us.
Not a single one.
Oh, sorry. Never mind. Fuck that. But like that's but that's like most Gundams with me just in general. And I think that's why I tried to like preface this where it's like, there are shows that I think are bad and there are shows that are not for me. I think Gundam is just like a property where like, it's not a me thing. So like, it's hard to connect with, Origin and then into Unicorn, into Iron-Blooded Orphans. Like when we have all these series, it's hard to like really dive into it. But if you love Gundam, like you're gonna connect with something more than likely, except for Unicorn, like in each way, like you're gonna find something that you love because you love the idea of Gundam.
See, I guess I'm just like disagreeing with that because, like, I mean, the Alex is in what, like 5 minutes of action scenes in this.
It could have been any MacGuffin. It could have been literally any MacGuffin.
Yeah, it didn't like the Gundams don't really do Gundam things.
Well, sorry, Gundam that is like the actual robot, but like like the world, like the setting, the plot, all that.
Sure, like I like political intrigue.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean like the actual robot itself.
So you're obviously like you're entitled to how you feel about it. If you didn't connect with it, that's complete, like that's valid. I can't say like, no, you're wrong for not connecting with this. I just feel like I feel
yeah, go for
agenda
it.
over facts.
You're right. You know what, Pete, you are wrong, because I think that this is like
I'll hold this L.
I think that this is like a really good like even more so than like the Charter's origin stuff we watched. I think that this is like a really good intro to the Gundam series. Like if you were somebody who didn't want to commit to like a full series but wanted to get like the vibes of like the general like theming of everything, I think that this does a perfect job of doing it, because it doesn't like throw you in head first trying to explain like what White Base is, who Rombo Rawl is, like all of Char's family and like the zombies and whatnot. Like I think that this is a really good self-contained story. And
no, I agree. That's like what I was saying about Miles with like Yuri's My Job. Like I think it's structured like really well done. Like I think it's great. Like everything you listed, I agree. But it's just something that I can't connect to.
Did you not like Al as a character?
No, so Al to me is a character where I think he's written great, but I didn't like him.
Okay, because like, I like Al.
I think he's the best character in the show, like straight up. But like I don't like him.
I like it. I think it's fun when kids lie.
Oh,
and like at some point that stops being fun.
Yeah.
But
he had pretty good reasons to lie.
Once your kid starts lying, I think it'll.
It is very funny when Cooper lies. Cooper tried to throw. I forgot what we told him to throw away. It was something that like some piece of trash he wanted to like play with or whatever. And we're like, go take it to the trash can. And he goes over and he puts it in the trash can. He takes it out of the trash can and he like walks away with it. And I was like, Cooper, did you throw that away? And he's like, yeah. I was like, no, you didn't, buddy.
Adorable.
Well, you told him to put it in the trash can, and they took it back.
He got me.
Got you there.
I'm sorry, Father. You didn't tell me to dispose of said material.
Your kid is going to be the greatest Redditor of all time. You even named him Cooper. It's over with. He's addicted to Reddit already.
He's either going to be really fucking good at baseball or he's going to be a Reddit.
Yeah, that's
up dudes to the left, Cooper said.
Yeah.
Gotta let him go. Just push him off.
Sparta, truly.
So
I have something to pile on with Pete a little bit. Like I agree. I didn't like Al or I like I more. I like I. I was kind of like the best part of the show. I agree too, and I think that that's mainly because Bernard and Christina or whatever they called the blonde guy in the English dub.
Bernie.
Okay.
Okay. I just need to say Bernie is voiced by fucking David Hayter, aka Solid Snake. So
that's dope.
That's cool. That's cool. I didn't watch the dub though, so I don't get that.
He also wrote the film X-Men.
Thick.
I haven't seen it. Shockingly, I haven't seen a movie. I know that's crazy. Me of all people, right?
A little bit.
No, I haven't seen The Lion King. I haven't seen Toy Story. Any of them.
Stop talking before our audience rips you apart.
No, I don't care. That I played video games as a kid in sports. Like I wasn't a fucking nerd locked in my room watching movies.
As you were playing video games.
Playing video games. Yeah, exactly. That's my point. That
was weird. I think your point. My parents were like, you can no longer play video games. You have made your choice.
Well, you know,
I
I can't
think
all
the
be great
point that
like Ernie.
Pat's making
It's
is
like-
that Pat's not
I didn't get a
Disney
chance to
adult.
make my point. I'm like, or were you talking about the video game thing?
We're talking about the video
okay.
game thing. He's
Okay,
not a
sorry. I
Disney
was
adult.
like, no. I mean, I'm slowly being forced to watch more and more stuff as my horizons are broadened, which is good because he has goof. It helps. It helps me a lot. Well, because it's like, well, I'm not just gonna sit there and play Smite in front of her, right? Like
You
that.
could.
You could.
I could
That would be
someday.
really,
Someday.
if you're ever trying to like break up with her, but like in a passive aggressive way, you know what I mean? Like where you don't want to do it, like because it
You want her
feels
to
like,
do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You just get into a small argument and then you boot out Smite.
You just like only play Smite in front of her. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you'll have to like start conditioning her to not like Smite ahead of time. if you
Oh
want to do
yeah, and then you just pick it up.
that. Yeah.
Which part is she wants to learn? No, I won't,
No,
I'm not gonna do that
don't
to
do
her.
that.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do that to her. Don't worry. I know better. After 4,000 hours, or whatever I've played. Yeah. So I guess my point was more Christina and Bernard or Bernie. I wanted some more depth into them, and they try to explore Bernie and like his morals and his thoughts a little bit. Christina is just cute older sister character that by the way she pilots the Gundam for some reason, you know, like I don't know, give me any more context into that.
She's not really explored, like, and I don't know. That's fine with me.
Right. I guess that it bothered me because I was like, oh well, I want to care about these people that are fighting, and maybe it was because the whole point is they're just soldiers in a war and it doesn't matter. Like, blah 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 blah. Like, all right, cool. Well, that's boring.
She's technically not even a soldier. She's a test pilot.
That's true. That's true. She is a lieutenant, so she is technically a military
Yeah, I guess
soldier,
in the same
but-
way that, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, if I were to join the army and get into like their science field or whatever, I would also be an officer. Like,
and you'd have gone through basic training, but yeah. fair
yeah,
enough.
but that's you got it. Okay.
You'd be a soldier, but yeah, fair enough. You're right.
Thank you for your service, Miles.
Yeah.
Salute 07. So, but like the rest of the other characters, like the drunk mech pilot. What was his name? What was the other guy's name?
The
Oh, you
other-
can't use their ethnicities because you watched in Japanese.
Yeah.
I was
Garcia.
about to. Well, was he Hispanic of some kind?
He was.
right?
He was
Yeah, there was
Gabriel
Gabriel
Ramirez
Garcia.
Yeah.
So
Garcia. That was. They
Garcia.
did say Garcia. They did say Garcia. So I did. That's why I think that's why I picked up on it. Well, I don't know.
there were various ethnicities in the special forces. It was woke nonsense.
Yeah.
As
Fucking-
Gundam has been since 1979 or whatever.
The fascist
Exactly.
Gundam heads will not like this show, and that's why I'm giving this show a 10.
That's why you guys like Char.
Fucking go.
Anyways, yeah, but like those characters felt just at maybe not more fleshed out, but just as flushed out in terms of who they are, what do they fight for, like their self-awareness and figuring out, even without the commander or the head of the special forces telling them that this is a suicide mission, their self-awareness to figure that out. Like they almost got more just as fleshed out as like Christina did, and that was annoying to me. I don't know, was I supposed to know who that general was as well, or was that like a nod to another Gundam, like he's just another talking head?
He just looks evil as shit. That's all he's
Right.
to do.
His last
honestly.
name is Von Helsing.
Yeah.
A lot of them
Yeah.
look pretty evil. It's so funny how like just we associate German names with evil, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
yes, in this group that is directly inspired by the Nazis.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So weird how they did that. So I guess like for me, the role that Chris plays is like it's just sort of like a paragon, like a goalpost. Like, you know, she is a virtuous human who like, you know, talks to Al and she's like, you know, I don't know if I would do the right thing, but like I think I would. She's sort of just there as like a sage character, where Bernie is more of like the conflicted sort of guy. And this is a question I did want to ask you guys back when I thought you had good taste in anime.
Suck my dick.
Wow.
Besides Jay,
Of course. That goes without saying.
and we had to get into the more nitty gritty here. But like, do you guys think that in a world where they knew Chris was the test pilot, if they told her that destroying the Gundam would save the colony, do you think she would?
She would absolutely have done it.
I think she would have done
Yeah.
it 100%. Because honestly, you know what? It would have been worth it too, because the Alex doesn't do shit during the war or in the timeline at all. So it literally had nothing. It didn't do anything.
Well, it does.
So-
It does get destroyed at the end. So
Well, yeah, but they didn't even do anything. As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong. Gundam fans, sound off in the comments if I'm wrong. They don't like do anything with like what they like. The whole point of it was its armor thing, right?
oh yeah,
I
think it only shows up in this series. I don't think it
Yeah,
shows
well,
up
like
ever.
the technology. I mean, because you can see
Oh
Gundam,
yeah,
their Gundam later or mobile suits later on down the line that you can see obviously have like a family tree or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
yeah. I mean, I'd have to look into it or whatever. I don't know. I think it looks sick. I'm going to buy the model kit. So the show did its job.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah. I do think
It's literally the show's job, yeah.
Yeah, I do think that she would, like, without a doubt. Did the characters feel really kind of dumb to you guys at times too? Like, I know you got to move the plot and do things. Did they like
what
sometimes the
decisions are you
dialogue?
thinking about?
The
It's a
dialogue feels.
It's a children's
Horrible.
television show, so yes.
They show blood and murder like
Yeah,
all
I
the
don't know what you
time.
mean. The Saint Seiya is a manga that was made for children. They literally show somebody's head getting ripped off in the first chapter of it. Things were different back then in Japan.
PG-13, teens 13 or older. Okay, interesting. I mean, I get.
Fun fact: it currently has a prequel manga that is out releasing right now. That is in a shonen magazine.
Okay. Cool. Like, still though, like.
Yeah, but like, what are your? I didn't
children?
notice
Just literally
that.
did a Twitter thread about this like the past like day and a half. All I've seen are it's about the Minecraft movie, about how like things written for kids deserve better media. They deserve something that's written with like some sort of depth.
I think
or
this is
thought.
pretty good for kids media, honestly. Even if the dialogue is a little like clunky at points, like it is a very complex show.
I agree. I agree. It is complex. I just think like it's needlessly complex because some of the characters are dumb and.
Who like how though? Like I didn't notice that.
Well, like. Let's see.
I think the only character that's dumb is like Al, because he joins Xeon. He's like green robot. It's cool.
You mean? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh, you're right.
Yeah, he's just
I
like,
get
oh,
you
that
mean,
robot
yeah.
looks cool. I want to be on their team, which is like
I don't-
suitable for a
yeah.
6-year-old. Like,
Yeah,
Like the
to be
special
fair,
forces.
my
Pretty
my
sick.
favorite team is the Indianapolis Colts because I thought their jerseys were cool and a guy ran really hard, and I was like, that's my team. So I
No,
get
the
it. Joining the
Colts
Xeon
jerseys were
Forces is
cool.
the same thing as
Yeah,
picking your
man.
favorite football team.
I'm a Colts fan. Our jerseys are blue.
yeah,
they're just-
What?
okay.
They're literally just blue and white.
Yeah.
with,
There's
gotta be, like,
stripes.
Several other teams that are more or less exactly
Yeah.
our jerseys.
but there's only one Indianapolis Colts.
True.
I'm a Colts fan because the Panthers suck.
Yeah,
That's it.
we'll accept you. Yeah, I guess like I don't like. You thought like the special ops guys were stupid.
Like honestly, not just killing Al right out the bat. Like I understand they use him in the long run, but they weren't planning on it. They kind of
Wanna just
debated
like
about.
kill a child.
Just a
Like,
Well,
child.
special ops. They murder. They literally they start the show with them murdering people.
Wonder where he was at and shit, bro.
They literally like start the show with them like committing
Target-
acts of war and terrorism.
They don't
On a
murder
military
a child.
target.
They kill they blow up half of a city block in a fight against the other. Like they
I
Yeah,
think the point is that
special
they don't.
forces would totally do that. Like
I think-
it's like I don't know. That's one dumb thing. Sorry, go ahead, Kat.
I think the point is that they don't actively go ahead and put the pistol up to a child's head. It's like
It was
like
an Arctic base, by the way. I doubt
Yeah.
there were any fucking like kids at the Arctic military base. bro.
In his town, in the first
but-
episode. Like
That's the first episode is where is them assaulting the military base? No,
that starts with that, and then by the end of the first episode, when Bernie meets AI, it's because he got downed in a fight where they were assaulting his colony, his town. That's how they meet, and Remember, like the whole this really stupid. I mean, I get it's silly, but it made me laugh. So I'm not actually upset about it. But the line where the kid's like, "Oh, what are you doing? You're skipping class," as a literal missile hits the building next to them.
I want to clarify that this is something I actually wanted to talk about. That is literally something that the creator of Gundam has criticized in this. So you were valid for that. That is one of the things that he specifically pointed out as if he had directed it, would not have been a thing in it.
What
Literally,
was that thing?
they would not have had children at school during the military thing, or during the like lockdown stuff. He specifically mentions what you're talking about as that would not have happened in a Tomino directed Gundam film.
Yeah, the kids would have run home or run to the basement instead of
in the school at all. Is what I'm trying to tell you. They would have just been in lockdown already.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, because
probably
the siren went off. Okay,
yes, they would have. Yeah, that's literally it's called out. So you're valid for that one.
Yeah,
But also,
so dumb.
it's pretty quick, right? Because they weren't expecting war. They're a neutral colony, and then all of a sudden, there's a thing. Like I don't know what
that's fair.
I understand that, but like, what kid is gonna be like sitting there? Well, sitting there watching it's one thing. Running away or running to go investigate it is another thing. Which I understand. Kids are dumb. They want to see the cool things. They were just talking about how cool it is. What kid, what friend is going to sit there and go, "Bro, you're skipping class," as literal missiles and fighting robots rain down from the sky and blow up buildings next to them? like what Jay say, like there would have been at least some lockdown. Like again, like the United States was all set up in World War II for bombing runs to come and hit the East Coast. Never happened, but we were ready for it. They were doing drills for it. Like, they were ready because they knew it could happen at any point.
The Jerry's.
The Jerry's, yes.
Whoa.
But I guess like another point really quick would be like Bernie wasn't part of the Special Forces unit when he was piloting the Zaku initially, right? So the Zaku people haven't murdered any children yet, the Special Forces people. Ergo, maybe they don't want to murder children.
Okay. Counterpoint.
Most people don't really want to murder
I
children.
know.
They're part of a mission where they're trying to nuke a colony. If they don't destroy the thing by any means necessary, they would do it.
They are not trying to nuke a colony.
They didn't even know they only knew because the fucking bartender told them. If it was up to Zeon, they probably would have nuked them with it, honestly. Because Zeon's mustache twirlingly evil.
Right, but my point is they're destroying the Gundam like by any means necessary to avoid like it doing anything else. Like they would do that, they would kill a kid to make that possible. Like I think
there's
war crimes
around the Gundam.
I don't know if they would kill a kid because they
besides for Amuro Ray.
They were ready to kill him in the moment too, so I think
thought about it.
They did think about it. That's fair.
I made the wrong choice. Kidding. God forbid. Well, that actually, then I wouldn't be in the show. Yeah, no, that would be bad if they killed him, because then he wouldn't be in the show for the rest of the show.
Are you having second thoughts about whether or not it's bad to kill a child?
Gundam episodes bring
in
out
the context of this show, yes. I don't know.
Looks a lot like you, and you're getting onto a spaceship, and they're gonna blow up the spaceship that you're on, but you can swap with the child.
Would you swap with them? Yeah, I would swap with them. I would. I like living. Living is good. Being alive is fun.
Note that you don't have to do this.
No. Well, now that I know about it, I have to do it, right? Like that's the problem. Like, gotta do it for the bit, right?
Look,
like,
when God gives you lemons,
you have to do it 2 times for it to be a bit. Is the rule.
So. Okay, well then I'll do it twice. Easy
peasy. Okay, this is the real question: would Char have shot this child?
Absolutely.
I think he would have done the same thing.
I think Char likes kids. Like
I think he would have liked him or something.
Yeah. I think he would have liked his spunk, his chutzpah.
I think he would have been very similar to Bernie. I just think he would have been a little bit more intelligent about it. And
now,
Char would have definitely.
That's why Char's alive and Bernie's not.
Char would have zipped in and destroyed that mobile suit and been out in like a day.
Are we saying a child or specifically out?
I think we're talking about specifically Al, because none of the
Yeah.
other
Okay.
kids would. None of
Okay,
the other kids would side with Zeon like that. I don't think.
that's fair. Yeah, at that point, I don't think he would shoot him. But
Yeah,
also,
Yeah. But maybe.
but maybe there's a less than 25% chance that he would shoot that child.
Saying that he would doesn't mean you're endorsing it either. Like I can't
Right.
believe. So like I don't know. I can't.
That it was a joke.
It
I
does.
just- yeah.
For me, it's because I live my life the way Shar would want me to live my life. So I can't say that.
Would
be
Himmel
like-
the hero?
It would be like somebody.
Ooh.
You know what? I'm not going to go there. But yeah, similar.
I wouldn't have said you're endorsing it. I guess to me, it's not like an idiot plot that they don't kill a kid. Like, I think killing a kid is bad enough that even hardened special forces units might do something like bug the child before they kill it.
Also, it's pretty easy to neutralize a child without murdering them. You know what I mean? Like they could just
Put
tie
a
him
Q-tip
up
in his ear.
or some shit.
But then he might as well be dead though, right? Because like the same problem happens where the
Also, I
He's
mean,
not
Bernie
dead.
kind of proved how easy it is to just say well, you're an accomplice now, and they'll fucking kill you, and then he doesn't say shit.
Well, he
They
does
do
end
that.
up saying something in the end.
He does end up saying something, and they don't believe
The-
him because he's a stupid child.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Dumb kid.
Yeah, they're like, hey, wait, are you that kid that lied like a week ago? Okay, bro.
The child who cries wolf.
Okay, I have some other questions. We're going to talk about them really quickly. So one thing about this that I thought was interesting was that like Bernie and Chris sort of had like a ships passing in the night kind of deal, where there was definitely implied interest from like both of them that they were interested in each other. And not only did they not get to do that, Chris kills him.
That was
Um,
awesome.
Super fucking dead.
Yeah,
And she
it
doesn't really get to realize that ever. I thought that was I can find this being extremely unsatisfying for people, but I thought it was really on message and very interesting. It's not like a thing I had ever seen before. Because normally you get that realization and then either they decide that they're going to stand up for the side they believe in, even if it's against the person they love, or they're going to, you know. But this, where you just sort of tragically have that happen, I thought was a pretty neat little twist on it, unexpected. What did other people think about that?
I definitely saw it coming because I mean it's one of those things like as soon as they meet, it's like, okay, they're probably going to get together because they seem really cute together. They're going to kill each other at some point. And I really enjoyed the way that it pointed to Al kind of looking at Chris and Bernie fight and then looking at Bernie die and then realizing that Chris is in that suit and having to basically that loss of innocence like you were talking about. I really enjoyed that. And I also felt like it kind of drove the point home of the anti-war rhetoric that seems to be in a lot of Gundams, period.
I didn't think they were gonna kill each other as soon as they met. I don't know where Kat got that from, but
Not as soon as they met.
I will say from the first episode I watched, I knew that she would kill him. Just knew it right away.
Yeah.
No, when
Well
they
done.
met.
Well done, Miles. Yeah.
I'm making a joke about how I watched the last episode.
That was
for
good,
Kat.
Miles.
Ah.
Yeah.
I was
no, but like kind of like when you find, because like Chris is, when she gets introduced, she's introduced as like a data analyst for the Federation. Like she's not, like you don't see her as the pilot, and then when you see her in like the test suit, it's like, okay, now the pieces are coming together. I thought it was, I loved how they like, we'll never know that they did that to, or like Chris will never know that she killed Bernie.
Yeah.
But like, and then the excuse that Al gives her, like he had to go away, and it's like, okay, well, like, yeah, like you said, ships passing at night, like that was a nice moment. I met a really nice guy. I wish nothing but the best for him in his life, something like that, where it's like they weren't in love or anything like that. They just like, they had like a connection, and I was very satisfied by the ending.
I didn't love. I also I don't know. I felt like the role that she had, like that was like an obvious red herring. Like, oh, it's all coinkydink that she just happens to return home while all this stuff's going on. Like, I think I could see it coming from a mile away as well. So I expected them to at least clash or fight or have a conflict, Romeo and Juliet style, basically, right? Like very very similar to that. I
They
didn't expect
famously fight in the play. Yeah.
families are fighting.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just.
So they're caught up in it. Like,
God his ass.
thanks, Miles.
On that fraud.
I know. I'm sorry. I can't help myself.
like, come on. That one was my bad.
My bad.
I will not reference Shakespeare in front of Miles anymore. It's the only Shakespeare I know, so that no worries there. But I didn't expect them to have her kill him without. By the way, referring to him as a burnt hamburger or something, like that was brutal.
A pile of hamburgers.
A pile of
It was a
hamburgers.
callback to when they ate lunch at school.
He kept eating. You are what you eat is the main theme of this.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Eat healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I didn't expect her to kill him, but not have her find out about it. And I, as usual with endings, apparently it seems like I disagree with Pete. I would have liked to have seen her learn something like that, that's what happened, or like just like suffer any sort of anxiety or regret, or I don't know, like the whole, if the whole point is like, oh, these two ships passing the night, both good people, you'd like to think, right? Butted heads and one of them killed the other one, you'd think that they would feel guilty about it. It would change their war perspective on the war. I don't know. I thought that there could be a lot done there that they didn't. Instead, by and I get the message that they could have been trying to send as well. With, oh well, she's never gonna know. Them's the rules. Fucking life sucks. Whatever. Unfortunate, but like
Yeah.
I would have preferred to have seen that explored rather than
I guess
what
you
they
just,
did do.
in my opinion, you see that so much because it's very intriguing. Like, I'm not going to pretend like it's not, like, two people on the opposite side of a conflict that are in love with each other in some way. That's like literally an all-time classic. But like, to me, sort of the whole idea of like this closing doors you didn't even know it was closing, like this war, like the effects go beyond the obvious sort of things, and it affects you in ways that like you wouldn't know ever. I thought was pretty interesting, and like, would I have still liked it if they found out and you got like some juicy drama out of all of that? Like 100%. I just sort of thought the sort of flatness of this, the sort of dud, I guess, from that build up was fitting, giving the theming and everything. Like West Side Story. Is that the Romeo and Juliet gang one?
It is.
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
Cool.
Jets and the Shark.
The Irish and the
Other
Italians?
Irish. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Or
The wrong
is it?
conflict.
No, but then don't they change it in the new one, right? In the new
Yeah,
movie,
she's like
they
Puerto
make it,
Rican or something.
they make it Hispanic and the Irish,
Yeah, something.
or whatever. Yeah.
So,
Oh, we were okay. I thought we were sorry.
Miles, I'll throw you a bone here.
Sure.
So in reference to Madoka Magica, I really did like the black dude's wheelchair.
Okay.
That was really cool.
Yeah, he was a cool guy. He
Yeah.
was making war machines.
Yeah.
And was like, "Nah, this is totally for prosthetics. Don't
Yeah.
worry."
It's totally for prosthetics. Here,
and
kid, let
it's
me
just
talk
like
to you about strategic.
There's like
strategic
one room
technology.
over is a giant killing machine.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and give you a tour.
That's interesting because that's the whole hook in Witch from Mercury, right? Just that the prosthetic technology ends up getting like adopted for killing
Ariel.
people. So
Yeah.
it saw its birth here. Okay, so I guess like this or not, do you think this show shows like a good amount of like the potential range for like the universe that Gundam is in, where you can like tell different kinds of stories? Where we saw something that was like very grand in the origin and like this long lasting sort of story, and then this, which is like a very personal, shorter sort of thing? Or do you think that ultimately it's similar?
Yeah, no, I would say because of my experience with Gundam that it definitely has that, and I do like that about the series that you can have mixing and matching of, space opera, giant warship battles, and then you can also have the more human side of war, I would say, the more civilian side, because that is a casualty of war. So I do like the mix. I would absolutely agree with that. And I think they do a pretty solid job at displaying both of those.
Agreed.
Yeah, I got nothing there. I agree.
Okay, cool. I think we sort of already hit on Al's character arc, and that I think all of us were fans of that. And we have talked about this, but I guess I wanted to ask if it was like surprising to people or not. And that's specifically like the very limited role Gundam's played in this series, other than mobile suits in general, other than like sort of being a MacGuffin. Like I think there was like maybe 3 mobile suit fights in this that were of any length, and they were all fairly short except for the last one. Was that surprising to people? Were you expecting more of the robots? Did you like that? Did you not like that, etc.?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. It was a nice change of pace from like I feel like some shows kind of overdo it with the amount of mech combat sometimes, and yeah, it was nice to like it was good as just like a departure from like the typical like Universal Century stuff where there's like a mobile suit fight like every single episode and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah, I thought it was cool, and I do wish because like there was like the scene where like he's looking up at the stars and like he could see like an actual fight going on, and
Mhm.
and they do show it like a little bit. I think it would have been cool to have like maybe not like a full fledged fight, but a little bit more of that would have been cool. But like the other side of it of just like, oh, there's a Gundam fight up in space, and I'm just down here. I have to go to school tomorrow. Was kind of a cool parallel. So yeah, I agree. I thought it was pretty neat. This conversation is making me go raise my score.
I was thinking about myself, and I know like I was salty, so I was like in my head, I was thinking, is Pete going to raise his score, or is he just being nice to me because I was salty at the beginning?
You were being salty at the beginning.
I was salty at the beginning, 100%.
You're gonna be blown away by my score, which hasn't changed since the start of the episode. Because like I don't know, I was just forced into like pointing out the flaws, I guess, or the things that I didn't like about the show. But like it was good. Like there's no question about that. Like I'm still kind of split between the two scores, but I did like it quite a bit, despite me complaining. I guess that's why like the things I'm complaining about stood out to me because it was just like these feel like things that aren't explained by age or something
Yeah.
other than the art. Like the art is one thing again.
You know what I do want to
That's
say?
not a real complaint though.
Yeah.
Like it's annoying, but it's like that's just it's
Yeah.
dated. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's like, do you like that retro style or do you not? Right?
Mhm.
It's like one of my, and I'm going to go ahead and say objectively wrong opinions, right? Is that like I think I have a lot of legitimate complaints about Violet Evergarden, but I also like don't like what it represents for like anime art, where it's like the very oversaturated, bright color, like shiny everywhere sort of thing, and I just don't like that as much as more like muted, gritty sort of
agreed.
stuff, and like that show is gorgeous looking by like every objective measure, and I'm just like, yeah,
Mid.
tomato, So like, it's just it's like an art style sort of thing. Okay. Does anyone else have any final topics they want to bring up or discussion points? I think we've gotten through most of it. We had some fun fights. Cat threw me a bone, which is very kind of him.
Yeah,
I would
think
love
we
to
move on
talk about our closing thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do our closing
Sick
thoughts.
transition, Pat.
That
Good job,
was.
Pat.
You did a
Thanks,
great
Pat.
job. I liked the show. I think it is just like a good show in general. Like thinking about it, like I suppose maybe nothing happens in some early parts, but I don't know. I like setup. Like it's like my favorite part of shows. I often find conclusions unsatisfying. But not in this case. I did enjoy the conclusion to this in sort of it was at least fitting, right? Like I think they did something that you wouldn't expect knowing how these types of scenarios are normally set up. And I thought that fit it pretty well. I liked the isolation of Al and like like that ending scene, like even though it was the first episode I watched, it's so weird. And also I watched this in a weird way. Like just the scene of him like in the crowd, like crying, and his friends being like, "Don't worry, bud. Like there'll be another war, and you can fight in that one," because like they used to like strive and want to do this. So his friends like thought he was crying because he didn't get to fight in this war or whatever. It was just sort of, I don't know. It was pretty like powerful to me for like just the way that youth views stuff like this, and like when you grow up and you experience life and you realize how awful some things that are like glorified in school or whatever are, right? Like I thought it was just sort of a, say, perennial lesson that every generation has learned. And so it sort of struck with that, and I liked it, and I like the old retro art. I'm gonna give this a 9.
Wow.
Holy moly. 9, wow.
I was
Alright.
thinking you were giving it 8, so the fact you gave it 9, I should be saying, wow. You gave it 1 point higher than I thought you were going to give it.
That's like,
Holy shit.
I'm surprised. That feels
Jesus.
high. Like, or in my eyes, I was like sitting here thinking, like, I think most people, even that are high on it, are going to be in like the 8 range.
Knowing
But
Miles, I think 9's fitting.
I think it's fair too. Just surprised. He stood on business. He's compensating for the lower scores. He's trying to balance it out.
yeah, I already gave it an 8 on my Mal. This is just a lie.
Oh,
I'm pulling an owl and lying.
oh, nice. You're pulling a if her flag breaks.
To the gulag with Miles. All right, Kat, what about you?
So I think I may have misrepresented how I feel about the show. I really do like the second half of the show. I do. I enjoy the way that
Every show we've ever watched.
I really enjoy the second half of the show. I enjoy when it actually picks up and the tempo really picks up, and the mood starts to change a little bit towards a more mature tone, signifying the loss of innocence and all that stuff. I also want to throw out that this is one of the few old anime that actually makes a black character that doesn't look fucking offensive. So that's a plus. With that, though, the first half of the show was fairly boring to me. It was intriguing enough to keep me from dreading watching it, but I also wasn't super engaged with it. And I feel like that drags the show down pretty heavily for me. That being said, I don't think it's a bad show, but I'm going to give it a 6.
I had no idea what you were going to give it. That whole last sentence was a fucking roller coaster.
Me either. I was thinking the same thing. Don't worry. Pete, what about you?
Yeah, a really structurally sound show. I enjoyed watching it. I do wish that there was a character that I could latch on like I have with other Gundams, and I think that's the determining factor with my score compared to something like Origin or G-Witch, where I found characters that I really could latch onto, and that's what I really like about these style of shows. Kind of like I did like the second half more than the first half. I think I'm going to go with a 6 as well.
Okay. Was it a 5 before this?
It was a 5 before this.
Really?
Ooh, okay.
Interesting. All right, Jay, what about you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this as well. I think it's like I said earlier, I think it's a really good sort of departure from other Gundam and a lot of mecha stuff in general and how kind of the pacing goes. One thing we didn't talk about, but I think that was really good about this was the like soundtrack, and the OP and ED were all really fantastic, in my opinion. All like they didn't really reuse tracks that often or anything like that. Liked the art style. English dub was really good. My score actually raised on this too from us talking about it, so I am going to give this a 9.
Nice.
All righty. I don't think I have too much more to add. I did enjoy it more than I probably sounded like I did, trying to defend why they should have murdered the child half the episode. But I did have fun watching the show. I wouldn't say I felt boredom in the first half. I would say I was more frustrated after the show by the fact that we didn't get more exploration into the Spec Ops guys, a little bit more depth on Christina and Bernie for that matter. Al was annoying, but I get the character. I do, and I thought he was well written. This show for me would be like a perfect 7.5, but I'm gonna be kind to it and give it an 8 because
You're a
that's what
hero.
that's what my instinct was
Okay.
in the moment. So with that, our average score for this show is a 7.6, which is about 0.4 below the score of 7.98. That is the average on Mal. Not terrible, I don't think. I think again we're pretty far apart. I'm surprised we didn't see a single 7. I don't know. It's weird for us to have like 9, 9, 6, 6, and whatever else like adding up
Yeah,
to
it
the
was
score.
it was an interesting show where it seems like it hit for some of us
Yeah.
and it just missed for.
It's like how I give
some-
Laid Back Camp a 10 and everybody else gets a 7 or something like that. Like I get it.
Other people
Yeah.
give Laid Back Camp a 10.
And they're
I gave that camp again.
I'm alone in my little shitty tent while you guys are having fun, and I'm like, I'll camp by myself. I'll have
Well,
stressed out camp.
I'm on a
I'm worried
fishing
about
boat somewhere
tarantulas.
instead of camping, so don't
Yeah,
worry,
exactly.
Miles.
No
I'm
worries.
with you, buddy. But yeah, I guess that wraps up our discussion on Gundam War in the Pocket. What show are we watching 2 weeks from now, Miles?
Okay, in third place, we had Rakugo Shinjo earning a legacy point. In second place, we had Girls Band Cry. In what was a very contested. This was a great race between all the shows that weren't Sing Yesterday for me.
Okay.
Though I will say, Kat, there was a period of time, like the way that I was like doing it, it was like some people were doing some, I think there was some finesse voting going on, and like, but that was all pushed towards the top half of what I was counting. And so I was like, if these motherfuckers make me watch Sing Yesterday for me because they wanted their stupid show to fucking win, I'm going to be so mad. But it worked out. We're going to be watching Blue Giant.
Okay.
Sing Yesterday for me is fun. I think you'd enjoy it. I think you would like it more than the other guys who dislike it.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would like it because I like bad stuff. It's like a active category
It's
of
not
things
bad,
I like.
though.
I
don't think it's bad.
Numbers don't lie.
I've heard one person say a good thing about the ending, and I've heard everyone else say bad things.
Well, everyone else also hates it when like people don't win
That's
in
not
the
the
end. Like
reason.
the bad guys.
Yeah,
the bad guys
We've
win
had
in
this
the end
conversation
here.
100 times. That's not the reason.
I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
I
Again,
vehemently disagree.
Look,
So.
I gave Domestic Girlfriend an 8. Anything's possible.
You did. Oh, nice.
I gave Sing
That's
Yesterday
great.
a 7. It still sucks.
What are we nominating for next week then, or the week after to vote on? Miles, why don't you start? I don't think there's anything special. Yeah, it'd be for the 7th of October. Isn't that a
Almost spooky
Next
season.
one, we'll do spooky season. The next
yeah?
Yeah, I'll be re-upping Girls Band Cry, mostly because I already bought it on Amazon in an act of
Mania?
what's it called when you're too confident?
Overconfidence.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, there's a better word.
Hubris.
Thank you.
There you
In an act of hubris, and I would like my $7 to go towards something.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Yay. Kat, what about you?
I'm nominating this because I think it'll be a great discussion. Sing Yesterday for me.
It would be. I think it'd be really fun.
Have fun.
Mobile
in
Suit
fifth
Gundam
place.
0081 War in the Trousers. Is that?
Pete, what about you?
Yeah, I'll re-up Rakugo. I'll keep banking on these legacy points for as much as I can.
Rakugo's doing quite well.
I think it's lost both weeks by like 1 point each week.
We take those.
Well, it
we'll
was
stack
close.
up.
So, like,
we'll stack up the legacy points.
Like I think 3 shows had 30 points this week,
Jesus
which might
Christ.
be unprecedented. Yeah.
Yo, shout out to the active voters.
Okay, Rakugo was slightly underneath 30, but it was very close. We had 20 votes today. It was
Let's
great.
go. Love it. Thank you for voting, everybody.
For sure.
Jay, what about you?
I'm gonna nominate The Dangers of My Heart season 2.
Oh, fun.
Huh.
What's neat about that show is that it's a bit of a meme in our Discord channel because of a comment we got on a YouTube video. For a video we were explicitly not reviewing sequels. Someone asked us why we didn't mention The Dangers of My Heart season 2.
It's true.
And that we were stupid for it. So,
Shout out to that guy. Made me laugh.
yeah, really, just top tier listening comprehension. And last but not least, Pat.
Let's do the Princess Principal movies again.
Okay.
You know, they were doing well before I
Crown
had to
handler.
miss last week. So,
Crown handler.
but yeah, I guess that's it. That's all the shows, and thank you guys for listening to Watch Club. Pete, take it away.
Yeah, if you have made this far and you want to support us, best way to do so, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you're watching or listening to us on. Next week will be the fall preview. Talk about new shows that we will be watching. So shows like Dawn to Dawn, 365 Days to Wedding, and mid properties like Blue Box. Otherwise, if you are here for Watch Club, we will see you in 2 weeks for the better Blue show, Blue Giant. Thanks, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.